Hello there, everyone, and welcome to a brand new episode of Collective Consciousness. My name is Tiny, and I am your host, and I am here to welcome you to the show. The whole purpose of this show is to help expand your consciousness. We're focusing on those who are on their personal journey to self mastery. So, today, what we're going to be talking about is entrepreneurship. So, what I'll have you do before we move forward, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below and ring the bell for all the future notifications. Make sure you hit all when you hit the bell. So that way you don't miss any episodes. If you did miss last week's episode, we talked about affirmations. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel and you'll see all the episodes we've posted. So again, this week we'll be talking about entrepreneurship and the trials and tribulations of owning your own business. I have a special guest with me today. His name is Josh. So I'm going to go ahead and shoot to screen and we'll introduce Josh. Again, welcome. Alrighty, everyone. I wanted to go ahead and introduce you here to Josh. Or do you prefer Joshua?
Josh is fine.
Josh is fine? Okay. So everyone, this is Josh. He is an entrepreneur. And you know what? I'm going to let him go ahead and tell you guys a little bit more about himself.
Well, thanks, Tony. My name, obviously, is Josh. And I would consider myself an entrepreneur simply because I went into business for myself because I wanted to change the world around me. And it's not some grandiose idea of becoming next Apple, becoming the greatest empire that's around. It's simply, I have a passion and I wanted to follow it. And that was helping people around me. And it started with an educational background, started with teaching, decided to go into healthcare. And then I saw the struggles that kids and families were having. So I started my own tutoring and behavioral services business. And it really works with kids who struggle in school, but it works more into digging deeper into families. They typically come to me like, oh, my son struggles in math. Cool. He probably does struggle in math. But what's the overall issue here? Is it really just, oh, he hates math? Or is there something at home happening? Is there something at school that he's not telling you about? It's really bringing everybody to the same table and figuring that out together.
I love that. I love that. Thank you so much. So let's dive more into your passions. I love that you just shared with us that you were passionate about this and that's what made you make the decision to go into it. So tell us a little bit more about your journey. Tell us what made you really want to own your own business and how did you end up with two of them?
Well, it again started off with teaching. My background's in educational psychology. I was going to teach, decided not to, went into healthcare. I've done behavioral therapy. I've managed group homes. I've done counseling. And then I realized that unless I gain more education, like essentially a doctorate, which I can entirely do, but I don't feel like I could reach as many people or help as many as I really wanted to, as was supposed to. So I started my own thing. And then that was about 5 years ago at this point. And really, I had my family backing me. I had some old school advisors like, yeah, you're the one, like we make this happen. So I've had a lot of mentors along the way, and that really helped. And over the years, it's obviously fluctuated, and COVID has made a big hit on it. But it was also a blessing in disguise because I was able to pivot, and it just offered a new way for me to train and teach. And now instead of doing the just like the after school tutoring or the at home with family dynamic, it's facilitating online learning while the kids are still learning from their teachers in the school. They're at home. And parents either don't want to be there on the Zooms with their kids, or they just don't have the time. And then that's where I come in. So I do that, as well as just finding best practices to teach, to study, to just do things at home for them. They learn more than just what's on the school Zoom screen. I teach them living skills at home, and building a better dynamic for the family as a whole. And that's really just my journey, and it's ever evolving. There's no real destination. It's just ever evolving, and that's just me.
So what would you say some of your challenges when you were first starting out were? Like, what were some of the molehills you had to cross or climb over?
Yeah. First one is, what the hell do I do? How do I
Right.
get there? Do I know what I'm doing? Sure, I have the backing of some mentors, but then I really got to take that step forward. Like, okay, so it's time for you to do something, Josh. What's that going to be? So figuring that out along the way, obviously finding the right ways to grow yourself, grow people around you, building a business and building your future. It is very hard, obviously, just from building a business standpoint, but the connections that you gain and ultimately lose along the way. It's part of growing up. You lose so many connections you thought were your best friends or the right people for you. And if we had to put numbers to it, say you started all this with 100 and now you're down to 10. There's a reason for that.
Yeah.
And in time, it will come back around and everybody will be like, all right, yeah, all right, we see it. But during the process of, like, whoa, what's going on? You've changed. And then my response to that is, you're supposed to. So, yeah.
That's so true. Not everyone is meant to go along the same journey as you. And in one of my previous episodes, I had a guest who kind of made an analogy about like being in a car, right? So some people get in and out of the car along your path, and they're not meant to get to that same destination as you know? So we get emotional and we get attached to people and sometimes feel like, oh, well, this is supposed to be my best friend or sibling or family member, and you were supposed to be with me for however long. But at the end of the day, like, they don't have that same vision as you, and that final destination on the GPS is not the same as yours.
Yes.
They're not everyone is meant to be with you.
It's just a quick hi.
Throughout
How
the
are
entire
you?
trip.
Great, thanks. Yeah, it's just a quick hi along the way. That's all it needs to be.
So how would you say you overcame those struggles, or eliminating or weeding through certain people?
You just have to become good at reading people, reading situations, and be able to let things go. It's I think it's a big sales mindset, actually, where you and I met. It's really just dropping the no's.
Right.
All the no's would be people who are weighing you down, people who say, oh, go get a real job. Oh, okay, cool. Let me know how that's working out for you. All right, we'll talk in 10 years. One of those things. So, and
Absolutely.
my reach is to the world, and I know that.
So you said you had a lot of family support.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say to people that might not necessarily have that same type of support, but are still trying to do for themselves?
You can create your own family. Find a new family. There are people out there. There are networks and groups of people who are willing to be there and support you. And it's up to you to find them.
I love that. That's so important, because for the last 5 years, I've been living in Las Vegas, and I had to create my own family out there, for sure.
Yeah.
So that's
You
awesome.
definitely have to take that step. You can't do it just chilling on the couch and sobbing. You got to move. With that being said, a lot of businesses can be done on the couch, but you still have to make connections somehow. Reach out to people, call, text, message, however.
So let's say it wasn't 2020. Would you still feel like your business would have taken off the way that it did despite the
Um,
pandemic?
it's hard to say because at the beginning of 2020, a lot of things, I lost a lot of business. It was just, excuse me, before the pandemic was even a thing for the US. Um, things were pivoting in my mind in life, and I was trying to figure out where would best fit. And through that, I clearly, my clients and families said, all right, well, he's lost focus here. I'm going to move on. And that's okay. And I had to take that for what it was and continue to pivot where I thought I needed to go, while taking all that in under consideration. Like, all right, cool. In the future, don't do that. Don't just have a brand new idea and then leave your old ones behind where your old clients are. You have to all grow together, or at least leave them, let them know what's going on. So 2020 started out as a rough year anyway.
Right.
And then COVID hit, and then it wasn't until about halfway through, and since I'm self-employed, couldn't get unemployment or anything, so it was really lost it all, and just really had to basically almost start from scratch. It felt like it really did, it really did. Um, but now that we're almost at the end of the year, we're coming back right back up, higher than we were before. So
Wow, that's really great. That's a huge
yeah,
accomplishment. I know there's a lot of people out here that are struggling and that have not been able to bounce back, and that, have started their business prior to the pandemic, and then the pandemic completely wiped them out. So let's say we're talking to those people right now. What advice would you give them
for,
to continue?
yeah. First, you can't stop. You have to keep going. You have your vision. Whenever you started, it could have been 10 years ago. It could have been 2019. You know it. You have to find the best avenue to follow it. Keep that mindset. Take some time for yourself for sure. Everybody deserves rest. Take a day, meditate. I actually do like to meditate. I like to work out. During COVID, during the large shutdown, I would take 3 to 5 mile walks a day, just to walk and think. I'd have my earbuds in. We would I'd listen to YouTube videos, music, or inspirational videos. I would just walk and walk and walk, and that was my time. Um, but for all those who are still struggling, you can't stop. Rethink what what you ultimately wanted to do, and if this isn't working, try a different way. There are multiple ways to get to your end goal. Which one is going to stick? If you need help, to reach out to somebody who is possibly going through the same thing or went through it and came out the other side. Those who have already done it, they know. They found something that works for them. They could potentially help find something that works for you.
Right. So like, don't reinvent the wheel, and reach out to someone or follow someone or study someone who is an expert in the field
Yeah.
and learn from them. Yeah, absolutely. That's actually one of the biggest secrets, is that a lot of people think that they have to do it all organically themselves, but that's not the case.
No.
You know,
No, this
find someone
is
else who's already done it and
yeah,
who's good at it.
exactly.
That's the key right there.
And then
That's
once you're standing on your own, then if you want to try another venture to reinvent the wheel, sure. When you can stand alone, go for it.
would you say that it took you to become a little bit more confident in business and to kind of get things off their feet with your business?
Oh wow. Um, I would say probably about a year and a half to get steady, for sure. Yeah, about a year and a half. I have 2 clients who have been with me for 2 years, so that's ongoing work right there. And typically, I guess for the sake of this video, I've been saying clients, but I say families, I say friends. They're not. I don't see them as my clients. I don't really like the word clients, but they are.
Right.
We've all become personal and close, and that's how I like to treat the people I work with. And I work with people. Nobody works for me. I don't work for anybody. We work together.
That's so huge, because that's one of the things that I want to promote on this channel, is that interdependence. I feel like our society has taught us to be independent and do everything on your own and stand on your own 2 feet, but so little do they encourage working together. And you bring what you have to the table, I'll bring what I have to the table, and we come together and create something beautiful, right? That's not promoted in our society. And I feel like that's something that we could benefit from even more so, especially with all of the chaos that has gone down this year, right? Like, we can come together, work together, and work with each other with a common goal.
Agreed. Synergy. That's what that is.
Yes, I love it.
1 + 1 = 3. That's the goal. Synergy.
So if you were to give advice to any of these entrepreneurs out here that may be in their first beginning stages or may have lost encouragement, like, what would you tell them?
I could say the usual is you got to become laser focused on your idea, follow your passion, all of that. And that's all very true. Don't stop. Be yourself. Find the right avenue. Don't reinvent the wheel. All of that is very true. But at the end of the day, if you don't want to do it, it's not going to get done. You have to truly want it and know why you want it. Find your why. If you've ever heard of Simon Sinek, he's brilliant. I actually just started reading his Find Your Why book. Sorry about the title, but it's about finding your why. And it really is, the why is first. Everything else comes after it. Why do you want to build this? Why do you want to do this? Is it for yourself? Is it for your family? Is it for the world? Do you think you can create a better product for the world to receive? Do you think you can give your family a better life to live? Maybe a better life than you had growing up. Find your why, and then do it. It sounds so simple, and it is. It's not easy, but it is simple. Just do it. All these little steps build up to create one giant empire. So yeah.
I love it. And I feel like you're living in that truth as well, because like the first thing you said to us was that you're passionate about what you're doing. So I feel like that is sound advice. And for everyone watching, for those of you that either do want to start your own business or are just looking for avenues during this chaotic time and something that's a little bit more stable for you, I would leave you with the homework to find your why. What is the reason that you want more? What is the reason you want to go on this venture on your own? What is the reason you want to switch jobs and do something completely different? Why? And really dig deep, and don't say surface, like, oh, it's for my kids. Like, no, we need more than that, right? Like, I want to leave a legacy for my children, a little deeper, like not just like, oh, for my kids. Like, okay, well, we all do stuff for our kids, right?
You can ask yourself, just 5 to 7 layers deep. Why? For my kids. Why? Because I want them to have a better childhood than I did. Why? Because I didn't ever get to go anywhere. Why? Until it brings tears to your eyes, you're never really going to know. Until your answer brings tears to your eyes, you'll never really know what your why is. And then once it does, write it down. Remember, put
Yeah.
it in your face everywhere you go. You'll never forget it.
Yes, I love it. Thank you so much. That has been so helpful, so juicy, like so much great information. We're going to talk a little bit more about the businesses that Josh has here.
So through building my tutoring behavioral services business, I've learned I really like to approach things holistically, and I believe things can be done. Um, and we're able to create and change your own destiny. So with that, you get to choose what you put into your body. And me being a firm believer that things that you can make your body healthier through natural means, I found CBD. CBD is the huge blow up of the last several years, and everybody's doing it. The issue is finding a decent supplier. You see CBD at a grocery store or a gas station. Never, just never buy CBD at a gas station. That is nuts. You don't know what's in there, even if it's outrageously expensive, just because it to make you think like it's good quality. Don't. Any reputable CBD supplier will not sell it at a gas station. That's not the point. The point is to make sure that you are healthy. So I live here in Indianapolis. I wanted to bring a healthy product, all natural product to the market here. So I connected with a supplier, a dispensary in California. They grow it there, and it's all natural, it's organic, vegan, all of that. And everything that they make is third party tested, which means whatever they say is in the bottle is actually in the bottle. And I have created my own, and it's right here. It's called Total Body CBD. Now, this one right here is actually the highest concentration I have, and that's 3,000 milligrams. Um, but I have 500, 1,500, 1,000, and I typically start people at the 500 range. And CBD is used to naturally help heal your body. It reduces pain. It reduces inflammation. It reduces cravings, food cravings. Um, it helps skin quality. A lot of people that use my product actually tell me that their skin is healing. One in particular, she can tell when she's out of CBD. Like she goes one day without it, it's a breakout. Like she's literally told me that. I'm like, wow, okay, you got to order some backups then. Let's go.
Do you ingest it or
This one is an adjustable. So this one,
ingestible?
the dropper, you only need one full dropper a day, and you can split that up however you want. It could be half in the morning, half at night, however you want to do that. I also have gummies, which are also ingestible. You just take one whenever you want one. I have dog treats that I give to my dog every morning. I have rub-ons and not really lotions, but they're more like a paste that is good for healing and reducing the pain in certain areas. So a lot of athletes that have used my product buy the rub-on and say, for instance, they have sore legs, rub it on the legs. Works great. I use it personally on my knee. Um, but yeah, that is my total body CBD product, and it's been going for about a year now, and I love it.
I love it. Okay, so I'm gonna put the links down below to like your sites, your social media, and all that, so people can visit and purchase some of that CBD as well. So, for both businesses, New Shoes as well as Total Body CBD Indie, the links are going to be listed down below. He also has these uplifting posters, which are one for 20 or seven, a collection of seven for 100. They will also be under the New Shoes website. So be sure to click these links down below, check out the websites, and show some support to a fellow entrepreneur. He also has a business consulting business as well, and he's shortly releasing a book for business consulting. So if you have any questions, I've also included the social media down below. So feel free to reach out through social media if you yourself have a business and would like some business consulting. He wrote a book about how to gain a business $10,000 within 45 minutes. If you do decide to sit down and have a business consultation with him, you also get a free copy of his book. So let's go ahead and create synergy within one another and come together. If you need assistance, feel free to reach out, and we'll see you at the top. I have something I need to ask you to do with me. I always do this at the end of the show. So I go Asè and Namaste, but let's do it together.
Okay.
Right. So 3, 2, 1. Asè and Namaste.
Namaste. Want to hear a joke? Want to hear a joke with that?
I'd love to hear a joke.
One of my favorite jokes with that is, hey, do you want to go outside? Namaste.
Thanks again for tuning in to Collective Consciousness today. We look forward to seeing you guys again next week, again at 6 p.m. Pacific time on Friday.